Guys, I wanted to make a quick video. This is just something that absolutely blew me away, and I want to know if anybody else has. I know there's other people that know this, but I don't know if a lot of people understand it, but this is just awesome. If we go back to the book of Daniel, Daniel chapter 3, and we know the book of Daniel is kind of like a foreshadow of what's going to happen at the end of the world. Much of the Bible is, much of the Old Testament. In New Testament as well. But by way of type, you can see a lot of things that happen in the book of Daniel that are going to happen at the end of the world in which we right now are living. But I want you guys to see this. This is about there being one true God, and that one true God brought forth and had a son in heaven. Jesus, it's the Son of God. That's who Jesus is, okay? Now, do you think people in the Old Testament knew about this? They did. Adam and Eve knew about it. God's people have always known. Now, let me give you proof of this. This just blew me away. This is in Daniel chapter 3, and it's talking about when church and state joined together and were enforcing religious laws onto the people. That's going to happen to us too, with the Sunday law. But check this out. Verse 21, Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Okay, this is taking place in Babylon. Okay, the fiery furnace, it's the three Hebrew boys. They would not bow down to the image. We would say the image of the beast. Verse 22, Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace was exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So think about that. The fire was heated 7 times hotter. It just represents, it was to its maximum capacity. It's the hottest it could possibly get. That's how hot it was. That's how much oil was put in. And they're over there in Babylon, over there by the Iraq and Arabia area. All the oil was over there. It still is today. So think about it. That's how hot this fire was. And the people that took them up to put them in the fire, those soldiers died because it was so hot. So that's incredible. And fire can also represent the trials that God's people have to go through. Great pressure and suffering to bring out the character of God in them. So let's continue. Verse 23. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Okay, so these 3 men, they went into the fire, you guys. They should have been killed instantly, but they weren't. It was a miracle. Let's continue in verse 24, and you got to figure all Babylon's watching this. All the governors, the presidents, the captains, the sheriff, the social workers, the whole church and state kingdom, everybody was there watching this. In verse 24, and then Nebuchadnezzar, the king, he was astonished, and rose up in haste, and he spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? And they answered and they said unto the king, True, O king. And then Nebuchadnezzar answered, this is the verse, you guys. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Now, if anybody's reading this, that's quite a strange thing to say. Okay, if you saw a 4th being that was bigger than the other 3, I mean, who in their right mind would, if they didn't know that there was a Son of God, you just wouldn't say that. You'd be like, the 4th is like a God, or the 4th is like a great being, or it's just a strange thing to say. But think about this, you guys. Nebuchadnezzar knew that there was one God, and that one God had a son. Well, how did he know that? You guys, this is back 600 years before Christ in the Old Testament. Think about it. Who was in captivity? The Hebrews. Okay, the Hebrews were in captivity, the tribe of Judah, and I think Benjamin. I could be wrong on that, but Daniel and the 3 Hebrew boys plus all the other Hebrews that were there. You guys, they obviously, if they're in the kingdom, they were witnessing to Nebuchadnezzar from the moment they probably got there. They were telling the king, because Daniel got very close to the king. So obviously Daniel's going to tell him, like, look, if you'd like to know that, there's a God in heaven, and that God in heaven, he's the one true God, but that true God, he has a son that was brought forth from him. This proves to us that Nebuchadnezzar knew, and that they witnessed to him, because he says the fourth is like the Son of God. Isn't that incredible? This shows us that he knew about it, because the Hebrews witnessed to him. It blew me away. I read that verse many times, and I never got he's given me the understanding. It's so simple too. But yeah, I wanted to share that because I'm like, Nebuchadnezzar knew that God had a son right here, the Son of God. Isn't that amazing? I love it. So that's it. I just wanted to share that. So if anybody comes across this and wants to make a comment or get a hold of me, just leave a comment. So, all right, you guys. Thanks for listening, and God bless you guys, and we'll see you soon.